And welcome back to Bayou Time. As you know, we try a lot of different segments here on Bayou Time. Years ago, I used to go in the field and we have canines, and I know you're hearing dogs bark. So if I can, I'm going to show you why we're here. We'll go to Dwayne's shot on floor level here in the Lorraine Falls studio. We have 4 police officers, 4 canine officers also, because they are an officer. And we thought it would be neat to sort of show you, everything about them, what it takes, how well mannered they are, because they're pretty good right now. And we're joined by Sergeant Neil Abbott. We had him on a few weeks ago, and we decided to bring him on today. So, first of all, Narcotics Commander, Canine Supervisor, how are you, sir?
Thank you for having me, sir. Very good. I love my job. It's been a long time building this division to what it is now, and it's moving forward in a great direction, I think.
Let's do this. We'll go back to Dwayne's shot. We'll start left to right, and we have Agent Derek Schlesinger. He's with the Houma Police Department, and his canine's name is Chico, and we appreciate it. I think Chico is about 2.5 years old and around 50 pounds. Is that true? Is that close?
No, he's actually gained a bunch of weight since we picked him up. He weighed in yesterday at like 86 pounds.
Ah, heavyweight division.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, cool deal. All right, and then we have Agent Sidney Terrio. His canine's name is Zeke. And so Zeke is how old?
He's 3.
3 years old.
Yes, sir.
And how much does he weigh in at?
He's weighing in at 59 pounds.
All right, very good. We'll move on down. Agent Austin Kesterson, and his canine's name is Mario. And how old is Mario?
Mario's 4.5 and right at 75 pounds.
All right, good deal. And last but not least, Agent Dylan Kibido with a K, and his canine's name is Bram. And how old?
Yes, sir. He is a year old and he's 90 pounds.
All right. Good looking group. And let me come back to Sergeant Abbott. What kind of shepherds are these?
So these are a breed of a Dutch Shepherd. Roughly, some of them have Belgian Malinois bloodline in them also. All of our dogs were born overseas in the Netherlands, and then they were flown in to Houston Canine, where I went out and actually picked out Bram, Zeke, and Chico from that kennel.
Yeah, I tell you what, they always, I mean, they're a little active and they barking every now and then, but I never knew when you put 4 shepherds together that they would be this well behaved.
So some of the criteria that we looked at when we got them, most of our handlers all have children and home pets. Derek also has kept Canine Gunner that we had for years as a service dog. We retired him, and the parish was an act of donation to his handler. So Gunner lives with Derek. Taking that into account, we want to make sure that any working canine that we have is not animal aggressive and is not child aggressive, being that these dogs live with these handlers in their homes.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you, Sergeant, is this the most shepherds y'all have ever had on the force at Houma Police? Because I don't remember this many.
No, sir. So this is the most that we've had in almost 35 years, I believe it is. Back when Captain Greg Hood and Chief Todd Duplantis, they were both canine handlers in their younger days.
Right.
The department did have 4 dogs back then. In my tenure, in my 20 years at the police department, we've had 3 dogs. We've had Falco, which Agent Corey Duplantis had. We retired him after this past Mardi Gras. He served, he was 11 years old, served 10 years with the department. We had Canine Rex. Unfortunately, he had a medical condition, and his bloat, the stomach flipped, and he passed away while on duty. And then we had Canine Gunner. Gunner, we retired end of last year around October, and Agent Schlesinger was able to keep him as a home pet, and his daughter loves him.
Yeah, and we're going to go back down to the officers in a little bit and let them talk about how important these canines. Now, am I correct, Sergeant Abbott, when I call them the dogs officers too? What is the correct because they are part of the force.
They are. They carry the rank of sergeant. So each officer that's a canine handler is an officer. They are a PFC, patrolman first class. Canines, we follow the military structure rank where the canine is one rank above the handler. So any mistreating of the animal or the canine, it is a chargeable offense because it disrespects the rank also.
And it's taken serious on all police departments, but it's also taken serious if anyone in the general public harms one of these canines.
Yes, sir. There is laws on the books for police dogs. If one of our dogs is shot or killed in the line of duty, that's why they all have the markings police on their harnesses and collars. And I do my best to always, some of them are wore down, and as soon as I'm notified of it, we place an order to get new patches so we can always make sure that they have those markings.
As we go to the break, when we're looking at all these beautiful dogs, too, beautiful canines, the pounds per square inch bite that they can, but I remember when I used to wear the sleeve, you can feel it come through the sleeve, although they're not cutting you, but you can feel the pressure. What is the pressure?
The pressure fluctuates between the size of the dog, but usually it's between 800 pounds to 1,200 pounds per square inch.
Yep, you can definitely feel it for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, what we'll do, we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll go back ground level. We'll let each officer describe their experience with their canine. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together. Waits and Downer, attorneys at law. Terrebonne Ford, built Ford tough. All right, we are back and we are showing off a lot of the Houma Police Department's sergeants, the sergeant canines that they have with them. So we thought it would make a good show. Let's go down to Agent Derek Schlesinger, and his sergeant is Chico next to him. And how long have you been working with Sergeant Chico, and what's it like?
It's an unreal experience. You don't know what you're getting into until you get into it, type of thing. Every day is a new day. The dog has attitudes just like we have attitudes. Some days the dog has good days. Some days the dog have bad days. Sometimes they're children, and they don't want to listen. But most of all, they listen. They are very well behaved. As you can see right now, there's 4 of them, and they're just playing around with each other.
Right.
I've been a canine handler for 5 years now. I've had Chico since October of last year, so we're coming up on a year together. First few months were rough with Chico. He's a very aggressive dog. Yeah. So it took a while to tame him, but he's a great dog now. He's well-mannered, well-behaved, and does everything I ask of him.
When he gets the command, though, he's ready to go.
Yes, sir, 100%.
All right, let's pass the mic on down to Agent Sidney Theriot, who's with Sergeant Zeke. And how's Zeke?
Zeke is a very high-driven dog. He's a Belgian Malinois. He's 3 years old. I got him in October. Him and Agent Schlesinger and I went through the canine handlers course together last year, and we graduated in December. And my second day on patrol, we got a criminal apprehension with him. As you can tell, he's just...
When he hears your voice, he gets
he's
activated.
A high-driven dog. He's very, very well-mannered. I love him to death. I wouldn't trade him for the world. It's been a pleasure to work with this dog and become his handler, and just love working with him.
All right, good. Let's pass him on down to Agent Austin Kesterson and Sergeant Mario. How's Mario?
Mario's probably the most calm out of all 4 dogs. He's also the most mature. We've been together for 3 years. We've done everything together. He's like family. He's part of the family. He goes to work with me, comes home, and he stays with us. I mean, he's part of the family and part of the bigger family also. Protect the officers on the road, our other fellow brothers and sisters in blue.
Sergeant Abbott, how did he manage to get the calm one?
So Mario, once we retired Gunner and Falco, Mario was the only dog left in the division.
Yeah.
The rest of them are brand new. So Austin has had Mario through this phase already as the puppy or the learning phase. So once they hit about 3 years old, they'll hit that chill button with everything going around until it's time to give them commands.
All right, let's go back down to the studio floor, and we got Agent Dylan Kibido, and he's with his Sergeant Bram. First of all, how do we get the name Bram?
Well, Bram is Hebrew for Abraham, so we kind of just cut it short to Bram instead of calling him Abraham on the.
Now, who names the dogs?
Well, they come with a preset name already from the kennels they're from in Houston when they come from overseas. So that's the name he was established with, was Bram. So we decided to keep it. Bram is still a puppy, as you can tell. He wants to play all the time, but he is a very working dog. We don't have any criminal apprehensions yet. He wants to play, but so far this year, since we started in the beginning of May. We made numerous narcotics arrests, probably in 20 to 30 arrests so far since May, and also he helped seize $45,000 for state police earlier in this year. So far we just started, but we're working.
Let me go back to the sergeant here, Sergeant Abbott. I remember filming on the beat a lot. When those dogs show up, the criminals don't give you any problems.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
This past Mardi Gras, myself and Lieutenant Seth Boudreau with the sheriff's office, Mardi Gras is a big deal for us. Mm-hmm. I try to come up with contingency plans on top of contingency plans. Anything goes wrong, I want to have a backup plan. That Stanley parking lot, we've had numerous issues throughout the years. We had an agreement. We had our 4 dogs and their 5 dogs at the time. And we had a plan in place. If anything happened, like a shooting or crowd control, we would deploy the dogs. That's the fastest way to get control of the area and situation. And we executed that plan this past Mardi Gras, dealing with a fight. And we were able to, within 5 minutes, take control, get the parade back en route, on the route, and moving within 5 minutes. We wouldn't have the tool of these canines. It's a lot harder job for us.
As we go to the break, we'll come back again and get some favorites, but do they all eat the same thing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, this group does. When we had Gunner and Falco, I had 3 different types of dog food. One was a senior specialty mix, one was a medication mix, and then Mario had his high protein. So, yes, sir, there was an obstacle trying to find the 3 dog food, especially during COVID and Ida, that we could use.
Quick question. So if the chief, Travis Terrio, would say, I want a canine in my unit, what would the rank of the dog be?
That'd be a good question. It'd have to be a 5-star chief.
Yeah, that's an interesting, because when you were saying that, I was going, well, maybe the chief won't do that. All right, what we'll do, we'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're going to go back down the floor level, learn a little bit more about all the sergeants in the room. Don't go away. Today's social media segment is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health Systems, modern technology and timeless caring. Rouse's, you're either local or you're not. Buick, the craft of modern luxury. St. Martin and Bork, know your rights. All right, we are back with our 9 guests. We have 5 police officers and 4 sergeants canine dogs, and we're going to go back to the floor. We'll start with Agent Derek Schlesinger. The language that you use, is it English? What is it?
It's not English. So my dog, he speaks Dutch. Usually when we buy or purchase our dogs, they come preset with the language. Whatever language they use in the Netherlands is where we purchase our dogs from. So Chico just so happened to come with Dutch. I was lucky enough to, my previous dog also spoke Dutch, so I didn't have to learn anything new. It's just jumping right back on the bike and getting back to it.
So, but most people who have to, or most officers that have to learn the language of the dog,
Yes, sir.
there's a learning curve for the officer.
Yes, sir. So some of our dogs speak Dutch, some of our dogs speak Czech, some dogs speak German. The sheriff's office has a dog that speaks Italian. They have a dog that speaks Hungarian. So there's several different learning curves, not just with the dog, but with the languages too.
Wow, incredible. Okay, let's move it back down to Agent Sidney Terrio. And what does your dog speak?
My dog speaks Dutch as well. His commands are all in Dutch. The previous dog I had at the sheriff's office also spoke Dutch, so I'm in the same boat as Agent Schlesinger. It's just like jumping on a bike and just taking a leash and rocking with it.
How many key words do you have to learn?
Probably 15 to 20, give or take. You know, the stay command, the lay down, sit, come, attack,
Yeah.
the tracking command, the search command, stuff like that.
It's a good thing it's a different language, because when you're talking to me and saying words, he would react on those words, wouldn't he?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay, thank God.
Especially
It's
on
not
the
far from the news desk to the floor, just to let the public know. All right, so let's move down to Agent Austin Kesterson once again. And do you have a large family? How's the dog around the family?
The dog's great. I got my wife and my 2 children, and when he's been there with us, you wouldn't know. But if somebody knocks on the door, he doesn't know who they are. He lets them know real quick that he's inside, and he's going to protect the family. So
What language does Mario speak?
Mario speaks Czech. I think I'm the odd one of the group.
I would
Speak
think
Czech.
Mario would speak Italian.
I would think so. Yeah.
So Mario speaks Czech. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And fantastic. We'll move to Agent Dylan Kibita. And with Sergeant Bram, you said you went to a few day camps this year?
Yes, sir. Me and Bram attended a few K9 demonstrations for preschool and a lot of day camps this summer. That entails doing bite demonstrations, showing the kids how to locate certain narcotics that are hidden in like certain type of boxes that are concealed for the dog, so the dog can be able to use its nose to locate and find the dog. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did a lot of K9 demonstrations this summer, and he was a good boy for it.
Now, let me ask, what language does he speak?
He speaks Dutch, just
Dutch.
like all the other dogs except for Mario. He speaks Dutch as well.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all differentiate the speak, because all the barks sound the same to me. All right, let's come back up to the sergeant here, and we'll wrap things up. Very important for police force to have this kind of arsenal when we're dealing with the escalating crime problem, and really comes in handy, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So K9 is a detrimental part of any police department. And if you're able to have them on your force, you're one of the lucky ones. We use the K9 division as our first line of defense for narcotics. These guys are out there making traffic stops, searching the vehicles for illegal narcotics. If they find stuff, they call me. I'll send an agent out. Then we'll start working that case to become a bigger case, because we always want the bigger fish. We want the larger shipment of narcotics to get it off the streets. So these guys and the sergeants that work with them are our first line of defense, not only for narcotics and public safety, but in the event that we have an elderly citizen that wanders off, these canines can actually search for them as well. So it's not just a criminal patrol and narcotics. You can get out there and do numerous jobs with this one tool.
Look at Chico's chilling out right now, and Mario's chilling out. And
finally calmed
Bram's trying to chill, but he's 15 months. So, but anyway, just real quick as we close, you had to raise $43,050, right?
So after Ida, the parish was in turmoil and destruction. We were also in a bind because Gunner and Falco were at the age that they needed to retire because of health reasons. So I approached the chief and asked if there was a way that we could do it. And our Houma Police Department Associations, the HPA, gave us permission to raise funds through them to be able to purchase. So Zeke and Chico, the money was raised through the HPA by donations from the parish, from citizens and companies in the parish, to be bought with, along with 2 kennel inserts for the vehicles that house the dog AC vent. It has an alarm system in each vehicle. That way, if the temperature gets too hot, it drops the windows. It has a fan that blows the heat out, and the lights come on to notify the officers.
Well, I want to take this time to thank the Houma Police Department and officers. Thank you all so much for taking a little time out of your day. Very impressive as we sit in the studio and see these canines. And I had the privilege, like I said, for a few years riding on the beat to see them in action. And if you haven't seen them in action, you don't want to see them in action. So that it's better if you don't really know what they're doing. So once again, Sergeant Neil Abbott with the Houma Police Department and the K-9 Division, thanks. We'll take a short break here on Bayou Time. We'll be back with a lot more.